Assalamualaikum Ciladers. Senang sekali bisa ketemu kembali di Internasional Talk bersama Cilad.unissula. Nah, di episode kali ini kita akan tentunya membagikan cerita atau kisah inspiratif ya dari narasumber kita yang sudah hadir pada sore hari ini. So today we have invited one of maybe famous public figure, yeah, who has been currently teaching English in all over Indonesia, and he is Mr. Yuta Otake. Hello, Yuta. How are you
Hi, thanks for
today?
having me. Hi, everyone.
So, could you please introduce yourself first to the audience?
Yes, my name is Yuta Otake. I'm originally from New York, but I love Indonesia. So I have been traveling through Indonesia, visiting many universities to do workshops.
Oh, and you were also a teacher, right?
Of course.
How long you have been a teacher?
I have done many things, but I started as a teacher in New York City, and I'm quite old, yeah? So 38, so 15 years almost. I have been teaching or working with teachers or education.
Wow, so you must have a lot of different stories in teaching, like childhood or in children and also teenagers and also adults. So, could you please tell me about your journey to be a teacher? Is it like your childhood dreams?
Great question. My parents, when I was a child, we moved almost every year. So I changed homes every year in America, and I moved from city to city. So every year I had to go to a new school.
Ah,
And it's always scary when you're a small kid to go to a new school, like you don't know any of the students. And good teachers always helped me to feel comfortable in a new place. And so I always felt like, oh, like teachers can really help. I want to be a teacher, and that's why I became a teacher.
so yeah, it because of your experience moving to one school to another, and you will inspire to be a teacher,
Yeah.
teach to the students well.
And I saw good models and bad models because, like, bad teachers don't help you feel comfortable at all. Even though
Yeah.
you're a new student, they don't really help you. And good teachers really help you to feel comfortable. So I wanted to become like them.
Okay. Oh, it's really interesting. Yeah. And so who inspired you to be a teacher? Is it because of the experience, or maybe you have a person that can be your inspiration?
I don't think there's one specific one. I've been very lucky. I've had so many good teachers in my life. But the teachers who go beyond the classroom and show you an experience, a relationship that's not just in the classroom, but outside too, those are my inspirations.
And also, as we know that being a teacher is not sometimes it's not an easy task. You may face many challenges during your teaching or in a classroom. So, what is the challenge for you to be a teacher, and how you handle or overcome it?
Mm. I think maybe many teachers face this challenge, but sometimes you try to create an experience in your classroom, right? Like your goal is to create a learning experience. But some people just don't want to participate. And I think this is a challenge I face even now. Yeah. Even at like teacher training workshops in general, there's always going to be a small number of people, they just refuse to participate. And it's very difficult to support people who don't want to participate at all in the process. Yeah. So that has always been a challenge for me. Usually, my solution to that is you just consistently keep going and you believe that maybe after 2 days or after 5 days, they will start to feel like, oh, like I want to join. I want to join. That's my hope.
So it's like you need to like learn and also challenge yourself to make the students comfortable and like eager to join
Exactly.
the
Yeah,
classroom
for
activities.
sure.
Um, do you, based on your experience, how many countries have you visited and like do the teaching?
I have traveled to more than 50 countries. Yeah. I have worked in maybe 10 countries. So worked in 10, traveled to maybe 50 countries.
So you're also teaching in all of the countries?
Yes, always. Yeah.
Wow, basically. And how about your experience of teaching Indonesia? How long had it been?
Indonesia, maybe total. I have worked here for maybe 2 or 3 years total. Maybe 3 years, yeah.
Oh, through or 3 years.
Hmm.
Oh, it's quite long, yeah.
Yes.
And is it for adult learners or like elementary or secondary schools?
Always universities. So I've done like yeah, universities or teacher training have been my two paths.
So university and teacher training. So you're
Hmm.
also being a trainer for the
Yes,
teachers all
right.
over Indonesia.
Hmm.
Wow, interesting. So you have met many teachers from all over Indonesia, meeting them and getting to know them. So if you have a message that you could spread to them, what is the message?
Message to all teachers in Indonesia. I think consistency. Consistency is key. I think many teachers, they like try one thing one day, but then the next day they're different. The next one day they're happy, the next day they're sad. One day they have high energy, the next day they're back to being serious. I think this style of teaching doesn't work ever. And I think for me, consistency, not every teacher, like you know me, you saw me today, I'm very high energy. Yeah,
Exactly.
very extroverted. But not every teacher has to be like that. They can be themselves. Some teachers are naturally introverted. Some teachers are going to be more quiet.
Mhm.
It's fine. But the key is, I think, for students to understand like who you are on a consistent basis. And this is what helps to build an understanding of your classroom culture.
Okay, so consistency is the
Hmm.
key. Do you have any suggestion or advice how to keep our consistencies always on?
Oh, I think this
Depends.
I think this is where the word professional comes into play. Teaching is a job. Yeah. And as part of your professional duty, it's your job to maintain that consistency. Yeah. Every day because we get paid every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be responsible for what we are doing. And
Exactly.
we have to keep in mind that competency is really important, especially in teaching, so that we can do the teaching well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Next questions. You have been visiting many schools and also universities in Indonesia, and you have seen maybe the teaching methods or maybe the education system in some of the institutions. In your opinions, what can we improve, especially about the education in Indonesia?
That is a heavy question. How can we improve the educational system in Indonesia? I don't know. But I think there is a misconception. I think there's a misconception in Indonesia that somehow Western education is better.
Yeah.
I think this is a complete misconception. Yeah, and it is a bias. And I think it's important to remember that good schools are good because the teachers are good.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's all it takes. It doesn't matter if you have air conditioning. It doesn't matter. Like those things don't matter. If you have good teachers, you have a good school, you have good education. And I think it's important to always focus on that. We have terrible schools in the US also, and we have good schools. It all depends on the teachers, you know? So I think that's something that Indonesia should build pride on. Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't matter whether Indonesia is a developing country, but matters of education quality, it doesn't depend whether it's a Western or is it in a developing country, but it depends on the teacher itself, how
Yeah.
the teacher could build connections and teach the students well and can get the values of educations. All right. And so maybe this is a quite fun questions. I want to ask you about what is the fun fact about you? Share the reality.
Fun fact, maybe for the audience, like you can look at my face, yes, because I was born in New York, but I was born in New York because both my mother and father, they're from Japan, but when they were only 17, when my mother and father were only 17 years old, they had a dream of becoming professional dancers. So they moved to New York to pursue their dream of becoming dancers. And that's why I was born in New York. Yeah. And that's why I told you earlier, that's why we moved our house every year. Yeah, because they were always traveling. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So both of your parents are a dancer.
Yes.
Interesting. It's really fun, yeah, because from your name, you thought like I thought that you were Japanese, but you were American because you born in America.
Exactly.
Okay. So maybe I have one last questions. Could you say something in bahasa Indonesia?
Tentu saja.
Oh, sudah berapa lama belajar bahasa Indonesia?
Mungkin 5 tahun. Ya, on and off ya, on and off.
Kapan?
Oke, saya suka sekali orang dan budaya di Indonesia.
That's what my last question. Thank you so much for joining in our podcast today. It's very insightful to get to know you about your experience and also your journey to be a teacher and also exploring the cultures of Indonesia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Cilat Unisula,
Your world is here.